Hi. I wanted to talk to you today. If you are on your deathbed and you're young and you don't know why, and you're asking questions, why he's taking you from your family. That happened to me in 2010. I was diagnosed with stage 4 kidney failure, February of 2010. And then I had a transplant in November on my youngest son's birthday that same year. My mother's really good friend. I used to babysit for her when I was a little girl, or a teenager. Anyway, after that, I just, I felt better, but I was still so sick. I kept getting a lot of fluid on my lungs. I couldn't breathe. There were so many close calls. I thought I was dying. We'd rush to the hospital. They'd get it under control. 2018, I had open heart surgery, and he said I had barely any time left, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a few days. Nobody knew. But he said that it was really close. And I knew I was dying because I kept calling his office. I'm dying. Please look at my case. I don't have much longer. And he did. He really did do that for me. And during this time, about 2015, I started reading Old Testament. And I started seeing all the things that he showed me that I had in my life, that I was being disobedient. Because the number one cause of death in Old Testament is disobedience. And if you're an unfruitful branch, he's going to remove you. And so I never could understand that. We've been part of religion our whole life. And, we helped everyone. We did everything that we thought Scripture was telling us to do. And, but he showed me all the idols that we had in our home. So crosses, angels, Scripture with the names that the world uses. I got rid of Bibles that had the pagan names in it. I got rid of all of my holiday decorations. And I'm telling you, peace has returned to my home because we did that. But, it took a while. It took us 3 or 4 years to not celebrate Christmas anymore. And I urge you to research those things that you believe in, the things that you do. And you'll see they're pagan God worship. I mean, the name Jesus is pronounced Jesus. You guys are just saying it wrong. Ask your Mexican friend. He'll tell you how to say it. He uses the simplest things to confuse the wise. The wages of sin is death. So I kept seeing why he was removing me from this earth. I really talked a lot. I mean, I talked to everybody about the names that the world uses. I was not ashamed. And then he showed me that he has a name, a holy name. And it's in Exodus 3. And it's, I am that which I am. But in Hebrew, it's Aniyah, Asher, Aniyah. And then Yahuah, am he who self-exists. And Yahushua, am he who cried out. John 5:43 said he came in his Father's name, but we wouldn't receive him. But if another comes in his own name, him you will receive, right? Jesus. Yeah, and the name Lord means Baal. You're just not going to believe it. You've been calling on Baal all this time. And we all invited them into our hearts. So, this is why he's removing you. This is why he was removing me. And he showed me that I had all these lovers before him. I had all these idols. We had a storm one time, and it tore our roof off. But the only place it leaked was right over my bed. And I had already done a sweep of the house and got rid of everything. So I thought, yeah. So I'm like, okay, are you telling me that there's something right here? And I'm not kidding you. We had a Newsweek magazine of a long-haired actor in The Crown of Thorns in my room, and an old Bible, some children's Bibles, some Christian stuff. And anyway, I got rid of them and got a roof fixed. But he he's been telling me that destruction's coming. But, you know, if you're dying and you're on your deathbed, you know, and you've been calling on those names that the whole world calls on, and they're not healing you, like Scripture says, call on my name, I'll heal you, I'll hide you, I'll comfort you, I'll lift you up, I'll esteem your name, you'll be first, not last. You know, that one, if he's not doing that for you, then you need to denounce those gods. Call him Father. Jeremiah 3 says, call me. He says, call me my Father. So maybe you should go to just Father, who created me, and his Son, who died for my sins. Don't give him a name. But I'm telling you, you need to put the names of your gods to test. And I'm ready to do this. If anybody wants to challenge me, and we'll do what Elijah did. We'll test the names in public. We'll record it. I think that would be really fun. To see the look on everyone's faces when he answers his real name instead of the names that the world's using. Right? Because Scripture says Satan deceives the whole world. So, hello. If everybody's using that name, can't be right. Everyone uses that name. So, I just wanted to let you know, if you're on your deathbed, you need to really think about the names you're calling on. I've lost, well, not that they were really super close to me, but I've tried to tell people before and they die. And that's okay too, because eventually you will be with the Father. A lot of people don't know that you've been told your whole life, oh, you're going to burn in hell forever. No. The Father is the fire. You pass through the fire, you're purified. Then you'll be able to stand in his presence. I'm telling you, the world is lying to you. Satan wants you to invite him into your heart. That's the seed of jealousy. That's the abomination that causes desolation. That is the great falling away, right? He sits in a holy place. Jeremiah 51:1. You are that holy place. You belong to the Father, and you invited someone else into your heart. And if you read that chapter, it's really good. If you go back to verse 50, it tells you that he divorced us. We were his wife. Yeah, but he divorced us, and the law is you can never remarry your wife. If you do, it's an abomination to the land. So, you know, there's a lot of curses in Old Testament that we're under, and the world doesn't know it because you're sitting before men and you're just listening to what they have to say, and you don't know what the Father has to say. And that's back in Genesis, the first 5 books. You should keep reading them and reading them. It's the key to the rest of the Scriptures. And you have to know what sin you're committing, because that's the fire that's coming against you. If you don't believe me, Deuteronomy 33 says that the fire is a law unto the people. You know, the righteous right hand of the Father is the law. You know, Father's going to punish his children, but he's not going to destroy people. You know, they won't have a remembrance of them anymore. But that's everybody. The remembrance of what everybody did is going to be forgiven. You know, got to read the Word for yourself. The Word, right? He says in the beginning was the Word, and if he's the Word, follow him. Let him teach you the Spirit that dwells in you. You got to cast those other ones out. I'm not kidding. Do it.